Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Addict and today we are back with another speed build in The Sims 2. This is again in my off-camera Build a City challenge Hanson River, and today's build is a witch's cottage in the woods for one of my Sims, Louise Eyre, who you may remember if you watch my Hanson River neighborhood tour videos, or you may not remember, but she is an evil witch and she has recently come into quite a nice stack of cash from her latest victim. She's a bit of a Black Widow evil witch kind of deal, and so it was time to build her a new house. I had a budget of around 50,000 simoleons and I wanted to build her something in the woods. My original idea was to build some type of like evil witch castle or something, but then I was thinking about it and I thought a castle might just be a little bit too much at this stage. Definitely for her budget it would be too much. So I decided instead to go with like a fairy tale cottage style build. Here I am just using a program called the Sims 2 Grid Adjuster because I wanted this house to be on a 2-step foundation rather than a 4-step foundation. So this is a little tool that I haven't done a tutorial on yet because honestly I barely know how to use it. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to lower the foundation to be 2 steps high instead of 4 steps high, and then when we load back into the lot you're going to see the difference that makes to the build. But yeah, once we get back into the game I'll pop up on the screen some inspiration images of the sort of style of house that I was going for that I found online. I kind of merged 2 different floor plans together and then made it my own. Here you go, so you can see here the foundation is 2 steps, so that's pretty cool. I like that tool quite a lot. It's quite nifty. But yeah, this was like the inspiration for the build. I've built a couple of lots in this type of style before, this kind of like storybook fairy tale cottage style. There's a couple of lots that are built in this style in my other Build a City challenge, my Twitch series of Bayland. And it's a style that I'm really enjoying building in. So when I thought about Louise and her character and her sort of, she is actually a family sim, and there's the potential that one day she might stop being quite such an evil witch and become more of like a neutral witch, maybe even transition all the way to a good witch. I'm not sure yet. Her story is still evolving. But so I wanted a house that it didn't look like super evil, I guess is what I'm saying. I just wanted it to be kind of a bit fairy tale, a bit storybook, and so that was the inspiration for this particular lot. If you're interested as well, I've put a link down below the video in the description to the website where I found these floor plans. It's a really cool website. I always talk about finding floor plans for my inspiration for my builds, and I'm always like, I wonder if people would like to know what websites I use. So here's one of the websites that I use. But yes, you can also see I added in a basement, a dungeon. This was something that Louise has in her current house, because basically what Louise does is she lures in elderly towny men, woos them, seduces them, locks them up in a dungeon. You know, after they've moved in, she takes all their money and then she locks them up in a dungeon and waits for them to die or casts a spell on them to kill them. She's pretty evil. she's very upset. She's very angry at life and angry at the Watcher right now. If you're wondering more about Louise Eyre, I highly recommend you go and check out video 2 on my Hanson River sort of tour, because that was the video in which we cover Louise Eyre's story a little bit. Yeah, a little bit in some more detail. But yeah, her latest guy brought in 35k, so 35,000 simoleons. So yeah, we had quite a bit of cash from that guy, and he was actually quite a nice sim. Louise kind of liked him, so she decided when he moved in, he only had 2 more days left till he was going to die of old age. So with him, Louise kind of decided that she would let him just be and just let him not be locked up in a dungeon for the last day or 2 of his life. But if you're interested in more sort of along that lines, if you're interested in reading my gameplay and seeing my gameplay, my Patreon supporters do get access to gameplay story updates. So if you're interested, you can always check it out there. But yeah, so we do have a basement, and it is totally possible to add in a basement with a 2-click high foundation. You just need to make sure the floor's at the right distance that you can put in stairs. And then yeah, so I ended up adding kind of like a little second floor as well with a little turret. I really wanted to have a little turret, and yeah, the other thing that I really wanted was a beautiful sort of front garden path, which you saw me just putting in there with lots and lots of flowers and bushes. And I guess one of my inspirations that I sort of had in my mind as I was building this was Hansel and Gretel a little bit. You know, like when they find the evil witch in the woods, her house is whatever it is. It's like made of candy or something. Like her house looks really inviting. And so when like Louise, she's always trying to blend into society. She doesn't want to be found out to be doing these like nefarious witchy things. So I didn't want her house to look super duper evil either. I wanted her house to kind of look like it was a bit friendly, a bit approachable, and like it would be a nice place to call in and visit if you were lost in the woods and you needed a safe harbor or something. So that was why another reason I ended up going with this kind of storybook cottage vibe. Here I am just starting to work on sort of just getting an idea for the layout of the kitchen, and then I get distracted. I'm like, oh, we need a front door. I wanted to put in this corner fireplace, which you can see here. This is a really cool item. It's Slave 2 Buggy Boos, Nooks and Niches. So I go through all my different recolors and pick out which one I want to use. But yeah, as I'm building, it is very common for me to just kind of pop placeholder furniture in. So the kitchen that I popped in before was placeholder. And that's simply just to get an idea of the scale of the rooms and how much space I've got, and if I need to make anything bigger or smaller or anything along those lines, then I find that quite helpful. Yeah, so I put in this fireplace. I quite liked it, and then I decided to change the outside stone in order to match the fireplace exactly, because I thought that was quite nice. The outside is very much stone and stucco inspired. Here I am just picking out the right wood swatch for the door. Gotta have the wood swatches match as well as I can, and because I use two different sets, like that is the Rainus set front door, and the windows are the, I'm mental blanking, the other one. I can't think of it right now, but I'll put it on screen. Yeah, so I had to see if I could get those wood swatches to match. And then I took a little break in building, and then I realized as I looked at my lot when I came back into it, I wanted my tower to be just a little bit taller. So we just do a little bit of a constrained floor elevation sheet there just to add an extra sort of dummy floor to the tower to make that reach up a little bit higher into the sky. The other reason I took a break was because I wanted to download these objects. These are some really cool decorative chimneys, which are also Slave to Buggy Boos, Nooks and Niches. And these are really cool because they're actually also in live mode, in live gameplay. They have like a smoke particle effect that comes out the top of the chimney. So I really like those objects. I use them in my medieval series on Twitch, and I was like, I need those in my modern downloads folder, please and thank you. But yeah, so you can see there the turret or the tower, it does kind of reach up above the rest of the house, and I quite enjoyed that. Thought it looked quite nice. I believe towards the end of the build as well, I end up changing the roof out from that sort of octagonal roof to actually be a round roof as well. So we might see that a bit later on in the screenshots. Here I am just playing with the roofing, just wanted to get it all looking well. I decided that I wanted to have kind of like a vaulted ceiling in that upstairs room, which would be Louise's bedroom. And I wanted to have like decorative wooden beams going across it, but they ended up being too expensive because, spoiler alert, I made this lot too expensive. Even with a budget of 50,000, it came out at like 52,000, and Louise has 51,000. So she's gonna have to earn just a teensy bit more money before she can afford to buy this lot and move in, which was a bit of a bummer. But I didn't want to compromise on my vision. You know, I didn't want to compromise on my my ideas for the lot. So I ended up just saying, oh well, she'll have to just make an extra couple $1,000. And I'm thinking that potentially when Roger, her current old man husband, dies, she may get life insurance for him, but I'm not sure because they're not technically married, so we'll see. Otherwise she might have to just find a magical way to make more money. I really wish that we had the Reign of Riches spell in The Sims 2. That would be so cool. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there in The Sims 1 Make and Magic, there was a spell that or like a charm that your Sims could craft, and it unlocked money. Basically, riches would just rain from the sky. And so your magical Sims could get rich from doing that. I had Julia Hero in my Sims 1 series craft that charm a couple of times. So yeah, I really wish we had that in The Sims 2. If any modders are watching this and feel like maybe trying to mod in some I don't know, some stuff from The Sims 1 making magic, that'd be cool. So this was the first design of the kitchen that I went with, and I was kind of looking at it, and I ended up demolishing almost everything because I wasn't happy with the white of the cabinets. I did, since Louise is an evil witch, I did want it to be a little bit darker in tone, so I ended up going with some wooden cabinetry and some black marble countertops, and that looked so much better, and that was much more the vibe I was going for. So that's using the Seasons Country Kitchen there. And then we had some upper cabinets. Those ones are by Mutsky on the Sims resource. Mutsky has a really awesome collection of upper cabinets for the Maxis counters, which I have really been enjoying using. So yeah, just decorated in with a couple of those upper cabinets, and I really enjoyed the, yeah, kind of like the darker vibes. The only problem I had with these counters, as you see there, was that when I put the sink in, those counters create a curtain, and the curtain picked up the wood texture, and I was like, oh lord, I don't like that. So I ended up doing this kind of weird thing. I don't know if I'm happy with it, and you sort of saw it just there before I reloaded because I took a break in building. But yeah, I kind of like layered a sink into one of the cabinets, a freestanding sink. Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, that's what happened, by the way. My game crashed. Yeah, my game crashed. I put down a fridge and I tried to recolor the fridge, and then the game crashed. So I had to redo a little bit of my build, but thankfully I was saving often, so I didn't have to redo too much. Here I am adding in some beautiful sort of decorative, whatchamacallits. Oh my god, my brain is not doing well with words right now. It's lunchtime and I haven't had lunch yet, sorry guys. But just some beautiful, like, architectural elements, I guess. Cornices. Cornices? Is that the word I'm looking for? No. It's something along those lines. You guys in the comments are going to be like, T, you okay? Why can't you think of any words? Yes, the answer is yes, I'm okay. I'm just pregnant and stupid. But I end up adding quite a few of those to the lot because I really like the way they look. And then here, I'm just going to do a little bit of work on this garden front path. And I played around with the idea of using the Buggy Boo's Nooks and Niches Garden Folly garden edging. But I decided not to go with that in the end because the curves were too square, and I liked the more gentle sweeping curve of having the freedom of the terrain paint. So yeah, as I said, I did want the garden front path to be relatively well decorated. So first of all, I put down these beautiful bushes by Kaylee83. They're converted from The Sims 4. We had some 4:2 flowers, lots and lots of 4:2 conversions in my front path garden here. I really do love 4:2 conversions for flowers. It's probably like up there with my favorite 4:2 conversions area is like 4:2 plants. They just look so good. But yeah, you can sort of see there the beautiful front path just lined with all those beautiful flowers. Very inviting. Like you would walk past this house and, you know, and you would be like, oh, that's so gorgeous. I'd love to know who lives there, you know. Oh, and then here I realized that I hadn't given myself any access to the backyard, and I desperately wanted to have access to the backyard because my plan for Louise is that she's going to get into growing and grinding sort of wild herbs and spices, which is a Sun and Moon Star Factoring mod set, and I realized, yeah, that she didn't have a back door. And because I'd adjusted the grid, I couldn't add extra foundation. So I ended up just adding extra flooring and creating sort of like fake foundation there, again using Nooks and Niches. And then I had to amend the roof again, which is always a bit painful after you think you've got the roof design finalized and beautiful, and then you got to add an extra bit and you're like, oh, dang it. And then that messed up my window. I couldn't get my window to go where I wanted it. So I end up putting it in and it looks like it's not working. Oh, gables. I just thought of the word, gables. Yes, decorative gables. Wow, good job me. But yeah, the one of the windows in the towers, it looks like it's glitching, but when I reload into the lot, it's fine. And there, yeah, you can sort of see there what I was talking about with the kitchen sink. So that's a freestanding sink, but the drain board is kind of merged with the counter next to it. I don't know if I like it. I think I do. It's kind of fun, and I kind of liked the idea that we had this like old freestanding sink in the kitchen, because a lot of this house is meant to be a bit more old-fashioned. And then here I am again just sort of putting in some placeholder furniture just to get an idea of how I would be able to use this kitchen space, what area for a table I would have, and then I go through and pick out a rug because I was getting a bit carried away. I end up having to delete the table and chairs to save on money, but I do leave the rug there because I thought it was quite nice. Next, we're going to go through and put some lights all through the lot. We use just some nice Maxis candelabras, and then we end up using actually some Fortitude converted wall lights as well. But yeah, definitely really happy with how this house came together. I think I managed to pull off the vibes that I was going for really well. I'm really quite happy with it. Oh yes, and here I am putting in some prison walls in the basement, so we might just have one large cell in the basement, or we might end up having one large one and one smaller one. But yeah, we've got our room to lock up our victims after they are wooed by Louise's charms. And then here we are going in and decorating, picking out some walls and floors for the bathroom areas, the wet areas. Took me quite a while to decide on a tile, which is not at all surprising because it's me and it always takes me a while to decide on wall tiles, but I end up going with that really fun kind of like florally print. So again, it's kind of just like, yeah, I wanted a lot of the build to look a bit older. And a bit more traditional. Now at the moment you'll see there in my turret area, in the tower area, I've got a bathroom, and then I decided that I didn't like that and I wanted to use that tower area instead for a place for Louise to put her spell book and maybe her cauldron and study her magic, because I thought that was a much more fitting use for a tower. So I sort of had some fun with some floor tiling there. There's that glitchy window, don't worry, the window is actually fine. But yeah, I put in some fun sort of tiling and purple walls, and I thought that was a lot more of like a fun way to kind of use that space. And then yeah, just picking out some more like panelled walls for the downstairs area and downstairs rooms. And then yeah, just going through, having another look at the roof here. I noticed there was a little gap in the roof and everything. But the lot, it doesn't end up being as furnished as I wanted it to be. I wanted to actually sort of really furnish this lot almost fully, but I ended up just unfortunately not having the money to do so. Oh man, she's gonna need to lure in another very rich townie to be able to afford to properly decorate her house, but all in good time. I'm sure she will get there. And yeah, I'm hoping that soon she will be able to start selling her herbs and spices, and the other plan for Louise is that she's also going to be getting a job of a sort in the near future as well. I did put a big old wardrobe up here in the upstairs bedroom, just because I thought that was fun and would be something that a house like this might come with. It's just an old wardrobe that they somehow managed to get up the stairs at one point, and when they moved out they were like, there's no way we're getting that down the stairs, so then they just left it there. Yeah. Here I am going through some different roof tiles. Just decided to change the roof tiling to brown, and then I'm just gonna go through and decorate the bathrooms, just very basic furniture, you know, like bath, shower, toilet. I do also, in this downstairs area, there is also room for a laundry, because I do play with the laundry mod, so she will still have to wash her clothes, unfortunately. But yeah, so it took me again ages to pick out a bathroom cabinet in here as well. I just couldn't decide on what I wanted. You can see me here looking through all of my Shakerlicious recolours, and I don't actually think I end up even using that cabinet in the end. I think I end up using a freestanding sink. Yeah, this really nice one from the Magnolia bathroom set is the one I end up going with. Isn't that always the way? So much work trying to pick out the perfect counter, and then I decide not to even use a counter. Oh well. But yeah, I wanted to have the two wall lights on the either side of the bathroom counter, because I thought that would be a nice touch, using that sort of old-fashioned Maxis rope pull to flush toilet. Always a good old-fashioned touch in a house, I think. And yeah, using this shower tub combo by Honeywell. So the lot is relatively custom content heavy, but I will go ahead and upload a copy of this lot if you guys would like to download it, because I think it's quite pretty. So you might want to have it in your game, I don't know. Yeah, just it so there'll be links for everything below in the video description, but yeah, just a warning that as always with my builds, they do tend to come with a fair bit of custom content, so yeah, use at your discretion, I guess. And then here in the upstairs bathroom, very similar ideas, just like a shower, a clawfoot bathtub, an old-fashioned toilet, and another freestanding sink there, the same one as we used downstairs. So then this is where I realized that I'd overspent massively, so I deleted some of the extra trees that I'd put on the lot, but most of the trees on the lot are actually neighborhood deco trees, which is a fun way of, yeah, saving a bit of money on your build. If you want to have trees, you can use neighborhood deco trees, as long as they're nice meshes. The last thing that I wanted to add to the interior before I called it done and ready to be inhabited was to add some curtains, and yeah, so I go through having a look at my different options for kitchen curtains. I find that curtains often get left behind in houses as well when people move in and out. They just sort of tend to leave them there, especially with rentals. And I recently downloaded these beautiful things by Mutsky on the Sims resource, and I just thought they were too perfect not to use in this lot. These very heavy pelmeted curtains with lace in the middle and floral patterns, and oh my god, they just remind me of being a kid in the 90s. They're just so perfect. So yeah, I did put a couple of those in. Oh yes, and here I am noticing that there's a hole in my roof, and I'm like, gosh dang it, now I've got to try to fix this. So I fiddle around with this for ages, then realize I'm doing it the hard way and I need to just add an extra piece of roof, so do that. And then yeah, the very last thing that I do is I do add a little bit of a backyard patio. So as I said, I eventually want Louise to actually have quite a large herb garden out the back, but I just didn't have the money to fully realize that. So what I do is I pave just a small area. I put in some planter boxes by T Vicky Sims and a couple of herb plants just to get her started, and then as she gets a little bit more money, she will be able to expand upon her garden. And eventually maybe also add a greenhouse into the backyard, because I think that would also be a good idea. She does grow some magical plants. But here is the lot in its finished form, so as finished as I made it. Here's the backyard there with those little garden planter boxes with some just general herbs and spices, and then the other side of the lot, as you can see there. So yeah, lots of gable action. So I was really happy with how the build came together. I think it really hit the vision that I had on the head. I think it, yeah, came out looking exactly as I'd kind of hoped it would look. So yeah, that's just the view down the hallway, looking into one of the bedrooms there. I was envisioning that we'd put like a desk in that gap in between the two wardrobes there. I thought would be quite nice. Another one of the downstairs bedrooms with those awesome old-fashioned curtains that just tickle my 90s heart. That's the downstairs sort of bathroom and laundry area. And then we have the upstairs bedroom there. So yeah, with some nice beams going across the ceiling there. I think that would look quite nice. And then yeah, so there's the sort of turret room for magical exploration and studies and crafting. And then here is the basement where we will lock up our victims and steal their money for as long as she continues to do that. But yeah, so there's the lot. Really happy, as I said, with how this one came together. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this speed build. If you did, don't forget to hit a like, and you can also subscribe, hit that notification bell. As I said, there is a link to download it down below the video, so if you want to go ahead and put it in your game, be my guest. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Their names are on screen now. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I hope you enjoy the gameplay update that goes along with this speed build video. Next time we play Louise, she will be living in this house, which is going to be very exciting. But yeah, everyone take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.